Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. Again, see that? Like a gnat or something flying in my face. I don't know. The windows are still open. I did not shut the windows. We are jumping into the Twilight Zone. Now, I'm not going in order. I looked up the best episodes and I wrote them down. So I took 10 that was on that list. I added 5 more. So there's 15 total. And yes, every single one of these are going to be in black and white because that's what the episodes are in, black and white. So trying to make it as authentic as possible. Our first foray into the Twilight Zone is Eye of the Beholder from season 2. Okay, this was at the top, so I assumed that this was going to be the best one. But while I liked it, I don't know. It's an interesting story. I like how it's done. It's done very well. Our main character is Janet Tyler. She's at the hospital. She's getting a procedure done. She's wrapped in bandages, and this is her 11th try at doing it. After that, they can't do any more, and they'll have to move her somewhere to deal with her because she looks different than everyone else. Those things, obviously playing on the Eye of the Beholder, the whole term, but yeah. So apparently they had 2 different actresses for this. One to do the voice to make it sound like an older woman, and maybe and another one when they undo the bandages, it was actually Ellie from, I think it's Ellie Mae from the Beverly Hillbillies. So yeah, I like Rod Serling's entrance in this because you get the little narration in the opening titles, which are very 60s to me, but whatever. And then after a little bit of the episode, like a little less than 5 minutes, he comes walking on. They do this thing with a shadow, and he comes walking on, and I submit to you, Janet Tyler. The whole thing, and I really like Rod Serling. And apparently they do these things at the end of the episode where they talk about next week's episode, and I really like how he was in the preview for the next episode, where it's like this little thing, little penny machines, you put it down and you get a fortune. Well, next week's episode will be about that. What if the fortunes come true, or something like that, So I really like Rod Serling on this, which is good because he's going to be in all these, obviously. So, yeah. The episode itself, though, is a very slow burn of an episode. I kept waiting for something to happen, but it all is everything leading up to the bandages being removed. That is what we're heading to. It's done very well. You never see anyone's face. The only face you see until the 19-minute mark is Rod Serling's face. Everything else is displayed. Shadows or cut away from. You don't see it. Anyone's face at all. Nothing. There is, Janet Tyler's face, but it's covered in bandages. You get her in frame. Now everything is cut off. She is the only being in frame of the camera. Everything else is cut off, and I like that. And obviously, if you know this episode, you know what the twist is going to be. It's just so infamous. I knew what the twist was going to be, but I was waiting for that reveal, right? Especially since the picture I used. But I was waiting for that reveal, and I think that reveal is done very well. Albeit, I'm a little iffy on this because there's the scene where everyone's there and the doctor is going to unwrap her, but he's standing there, and you see the side of his head, and you can sort of see the prosthetic that the actor has on. So I wish they would have put more shadow on him because you could sort of see it. But like I said, I already knew the twist going in, and it's sort of a double twist, right? Like, before I get to the twist, though, there is a guy on the screen talking about conformity. You must conform, you must do this. It reminds me a lot of They Live. I think John Carpenter took a lot of inspiration for that movie from this. I think he must have, because it's very much like that. You get someone, obey, 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 and That's really what it seems like. They keep telling Janet, if this does not fix your face, we're going to have to put you somewhere, take you somewhere. At one point, she even says, well, do I have to go there, or is there other means? Is there another way? Like, she wants to self-euthanize, the way they put it. You know, she could be euthanized, she could be... But they say that cannot happen. So, you know... And I do like... Because apparently in the original script, they weren't as nice to her as they are here. And they do sort of try to comfort her. They're not discriminating against it. I think when you have the guy on the TV screens doing that, I think it works for the people there to be nice, even though she's the way she is. So, the twist. Okay, I gotta talk about what they do here. So they unwrap the bandages, and then it cuts the camera's view from inside, which they put the camera in a fishbowl, and they unwrap the fishbowl. It looks pretty decent for 1960s stuff. You know, back then, there wasn't all this, you know, no CGI, not even the stuff from the 80s, prosthetic stuff you could do. The prosthetics are very, you know, with Jeffrey Tuttle, or whatever his name is, that did the prosthetics. They're decent. They're decent. So, she unwrapped, they take the bandage off, and she's a very gorgeous woman. That's only part of the twist, because then they turn on the lights and reveal that all the other people are hideous, deformed creatures. Yes. And she's freaking out, but not because they're hideously deformed, because she feels she's the ugly one, that she's the one who's wrong, she's the one who looks bad. You know, eye of the beholder. And she's freaking out. She's running across the hospital. She sees the conformity guy. She throws something at the screen, which that's not very well done. She throws it, and it just turns off. Obviously, it was a projection that it just turned off. You know, it's the 60s, whatever. And she runs into an office, the doctor's office. There's a guy in there, which to us would be a very handsome man, right? But to them, it's another one of those ugly people. And he says he's going to take her to this village where all the people that look like them are. And he feels that in a short time, a very short time, she will come to accept where they are. And I do want to mention that earlier she put out this speech that the actress is fantastic. The voice actress they got is just fantastic. She puts out this speech where they say they're going to put her in a congregation. And she, congregation? You mean segregation? It's very, you know, this is 1960s. This is back then when they were still sort of in the middle of that. You know what I mean? So that type of situation, that type of subject matter is used in shows back then. You know, you look back at older shows, and they couldn't even have married couples sleep in the same beds. Look at Out of Lucy. They slept in different beds, right? I think the Brady Bunch slept in the same beds, but by then they probably changed it. But back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, those kind of shows, they slept in separate beds, and, you know, as a kid, you didn't understand it, but now as an adult, you realize what, you know, that whole thing. And this is done very well, and then, you know, she's going to go with this guy to this congregation, this village, so to speak, and episode ends. So, yeah, I think this was done very well. Again, though, I haven't seen enough. When I got it, I think I watched the first couple episodes, which I know are not the highlights. The first one, though, was decent. Where is everybody? It's not on the list, but I will say that was a decent episode. It adds the paranoia of, why is this guy alone? What is going on? And then when the twist happens, which I won't reveal, it's like, oh, okay, that works. And then the second episode, the problem with this is that it's going to come in handy in the long run the way I'm doing this, but you have to watch one at a time. You can't play all. You have to pick one, watch it, goes back to the menu, pick the next one, that sort of thing. I don't like ones that do that, but it's fine. So am I going to do scores for this? Probably not, but this was a decent start to these. I'm going through the Twilight Zones. I have 14 left to do. And they're in no particular order. They're just ones that are on that list up to number 10. And then the last 5 are ones that I looked on the back of the box thing, which you can't see because I'm in the freaking way. And picked the last 5 to put on there. So the last 5 will be ones, my personal picks, while the other ones were in the top whatever episodes. And I guess I did pick them, but, you know. So, what are your thoughts on this episode of Twilight Zone? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. These will probably be shorter, because these are probably not a lot to talk about with some of these. Than maybe a 2 guys and a girl, or a SmackDown or something. It's a half-hour show, so it's 2 guys and a girl. But, you know, thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.